Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're hopefully going to be getting everything wrapped up here and test starting it. So to get things started, I'm going to take off this old oil pan seal. It's glued on here pretty well. I think they used a bunch of RTV under it, which actually ended up in the pan, I think, which is like this stuff. I tried to wipe as much of it out as I could. So I think I cleaned it up. I don't see much in there. Actually, what the hell is this? Hold on, I need to get a pic. What is that? No way. That's crazy. This is the piece that broke off the head from the valve cover bolts. That's insane. Definitely keeping that. Holy, that is hilarious. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this razor blade and scrape all this old gasket out. So just give me a minute. All right, I'm nowhere near done, but I just want to note this. Like, I don't even think this was a gasket on here. Like, I think they used some sort of sealant, like the kind of stuff that people used to put on like windshields and stuff. Like, this is how it's coming off, like tiny little pieces like this, and all I got is a razor blade. It looks like there's some sort of glue around like all these little stubs that kind of help the pan align. It's honestly so annoying. I don't know if you can see this. This is the area I've done so far. I've probably been doing this for like 20 minutes. This stuff is just stuck to there. Like, this is not a gasket. It's almost like they use glue on it instead of like RTV or something. It comes off kind of stretchy, but like parts of it are just rock hard, and that's what was ending up in the pan. In the other video, that's what I was showing, like those little tiny pieces. I'm also kind of noticing this pan's pretty dented up. There's a big dent here, one here, and then down there there's a pretty big one too. So I wonder if we can press that out or something. I might try to take the whole seal out, whatever they used, and then honestly I might like have to wire wheel this smooth or something. Like, this is gonna be annoying. All right, I got a decent amount of the gasket off. I wish I could kind of describe more how annoying this thing is to get off. You can see the residue. I'm like 99% sure they put some sort of like glue on the whole brim, then shoved the gasket on top, because there's like these little orange plasticky pieces that come off from around these little bumps. There's just no way it's RTV. I guess a good way to describe it is like, this is the gasket. It's like little chips that I have to pry off. This is what it's supposed to be, like pliable and flexible. Like, these just break apart. I'm assuming because the glue sticks to it and just ruined it. And that's what ended up in the pan. This is kind of like that orange stuff. It's like, it just crumbles apart. And now I have to clean out this good, but I really have to get the rest of this just gunk out of here. It's gonna be so annoying. I think I might take a heat gun to it and take the razor blade to it. Hopefully I can get most of it off. Yep, it's gonna be a bit annoying. All right, I got the pan cleaned up all right. There's still all sorts of like sealant residue. I tried to scrape it as clean as I could. I even tried using like a wire brush on a Dremel. Nothing was really working better. So I just kind of used a razor, scraped it as much as I can, at least so it's flat and there's no like very bumpy areas. There was definitely some sort of like glue all around these little stubs that help the pan align itself. It's very annoying, but I think we're just about ready to put the new one on. So I already cleaned up the bottom of the engine block where the pan goes on, so don't have to worry about that. Now, you are supposed to use a little bit of RTV. I'm just gonna put it around these little half moon kind of things right here. Not very much at all. Obviously, whoever did this last put way too much and it ended up floating around in the pan, so do not want to recreate that. Just a tiny little layer. Do the same for this side. I'm just gonna wipe up a little bit of overflow here. I do not want this to end up in the pan. If anything, I'd rather it overflow to the other direction. Now take our gasket, align it like so. Make sure these are all pressed in here. All right. I am gonna put a tiny bit more on this side too. Just a very thin layer. All right, that should be good for now. Now we're gonna get it onto the block. I got the pan started here. I put one bolt on each corner. I guess the nut on this one. It would have been impossible to do while recording, so I'm just gonna go around and tighten them all on now. All right, I got all the bolts and nuts tightened back down. There we go, see, all the way around. Looks like the RTV had a pretty nice squish, more than I thought. I probably added a little bit too much, so I'm definitely gonna wipe that up on the outside. There was definitely more towards the outside, so hopefully it didn't squish into the pan as much, but that looks good. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead, clean that up a little bit, and also put on the flywheel dust shield and the engine stiffener plate real quick. All right, got that bolted back on. Looking pretty nice. Oh, I gotta put the drain bolt tack on. All right, I just put the drain plug back in just so I didn't forget, and then I just remembered last video, somehow I forgot to put in the footage of me putting on the timing belt, so I'm just gonna quickly go over that real quick. There's a line right here on the crankshaft gear, and then it aligns, sorry if it doesn't focus, but you can kind of see that triangle between those two teeth right there. That's an arrow actually, and it aligns with that line on the crankshaft gear. And then you want the camshaft gear to be in the up position, as you can see right there. The symbol, or the letters up. So that means it's at top dead center for both the head, the valves, as well as the crankshaft. So should be right. I haven't spun it yet, so I'm going to do that now. The tension on the belt feels decent, but we're gonna spin it over, make sure it all stays in time and doesn't skip any teeth, because that's the last thing we need. All right, I spun it around 2 more times fully. So we got up here, and let's check the mark. Still in time here. Should be good then. I think I might put back on the harmonic balancer then. Actually, no. I should put the timing cover back on first. But before I do that, I'm gonna make sure the timing belt tensioner is tightened down. So let me just do that real quick. We'll slide this crusty thing back on. What am I stuck on? All right, got that done. I think the next thing I'm gonna do here is put the crank bolt back on. This is probably gonna be very annoying. It's supposed to be torqued to like 120 or 130 or something crazy. I'm just gonna get it snug first. I'm gonna put on this tool that holds the crank right now, actually. Hopefully I can snake it in here. Actually, that should be pretty good. I got it sitting above the axle. Oops. Was struggling to get this tool in here originally, and now it's struggling to stay in here. What's up with that? Alright. I'm gonna set the torque wrench to about 45 pounds first. There we go. Now, let's go about to like 95. There we go. Now last one. The manual said about like 130. So we're gonna do that. 135, I mean. All right, that should be good. All right, so if you ever do something like this, you don't want to be like me and just unplug all the distributor wires. But luckily on the Hondas, it's not too hard. The firing, you just have to search up the firing sequence and you can figure it out from there. So this is cylinder 1. So that's the one that fires first. I'll put a little image of the screen of the diagram, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna plug in the longest cord here. That goes over cylinder 1. And then cylinder 2 should be the second longest. Put in cylinder number 3 here. And then last one's pretty self-explanatory. Just gonna organize them a little bit here. That should be good. Doesn't look pretty. These cords just seem a little long. I'll fix that out more later. I'm gonna go ahead and start connecting some of these hoses here. I refreshed some of these, so we're gonna put some new clamps on here. Just gonna tighten it till it's snug. I don't really wanna tighten too hard and damage the line. It should be good. Now we gotta do the same for down there. You can see it right here. All right, got that done. One clamp there, other one on there. Now I'm gonna make some adjustments to this. This is kind of like the fuel return line. It looks pretty like kinked up, so I think I'm gonna trim it down a little bit. I added this one when I refreshed kind of the whole head stuff, so I'm just gonna trim it down a tiny bit because you can see it's a little twisted. I also want to just straighten that out, so I'm just gonna knock that out real quick. All right, I trimmed it down a little bit. It looks a little kinked maybe still, but I think it's way better than it was. If people say that I should change it, I will, but it doesn't look too bad. So I think I'm gonna leave it like that. The next thing I gotta do is I gotta get the PCV valve hose. It's right under that, as you can see, the open port. So I gotta get under the car and do that, which is gonna be a very fun experience. This is from the bottom, the PCV valve hose right here. So I gotta trim it to the right length and then put the hose clamp on it and get it attached there. So I'm not gonna record it because as you can see, this is a very annoying angle. So I'll show you the finished product though. All right, finally got that on down there. Took way too long. Then we can start plugging in some of these cables, all the injectors, stuff like that. I don't really remember exactly how these all threaded through. Pretty sure they all went under here, if I remember correctly. So we'll start with that. I think this clipped in here, so we'll put that back. Then we got all our injectors. I feel like I might have flipped the injectors the wrong way, but oh well, should be fine. All right, those are all good. We got the idle air control valve down here. Plug that in. Then this one should just go here. Or maybe that's the idle air control valve, I forget. This one I assume goes here. Boom. This one here. Then we got this one. Where does this one go? I forgot that plugs into the thing that goes on top of the throttle body, the intake. What's next? Guess we can plug in this coolant hose here. I think this goes to the heater core or something like that. It's gonna fight me a little bit. There we go. Slide this on. Right there. All right, that should be good. Let's plug in all the stuff that went down here. These were a little annoying. This one plugs into the middle. This one should go here. Clicks into place. Oh, I forgot about that coolant line. We'll do this one too. Slide this over. Alright, we'll just leave that there. Looks good. Looks good. What else? Is there a good? Good. Good. Oh, distributor. Should go like this. Oh, this emissions thing went here. There we go, slide this right there. I don't really know what this mounted to. Oh, it probably mounted right here, to be honest. That screw's missing though. I'm pretty sure this was just like this when I took it off. All these wires are from the automatic transmission stuff, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, I think I'm gonna put the dipstick tube back in now, just to get it over with. All right, there we go. That's done. Put this other half of the timing cover back on, I guess. Oop, this goes around the dipstick tube. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put all the belts back on. It's gonna be really annoying to record all that, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do that real quick. But if you have questions about doing this, just let me know, I'll help you out. All right, I just finished putting all these belts on. Took me a bit. The power steering might be a little loose, I don't really know, but we're just gonna run it like this for now. Got everything tightened back down. Now I'm just gonna finish putting the remaining things back on. I'm gonna start with the fuel return line. This shouldn't be too hard, so I'm just gonna knock it out. Goes into the end of the fuel rail here. Just gonna tighten it so it's snug. All right, that should be good. Now we're gonna move over here and I'm gonna put the banjo bolt back on the rail. Shouldn't be too hard. All right, take the banjo bolt off here. All right, I guess this is, the banjo bolt itself is on the fuel rail. And it's really just a nut. So there's already one washer there. One goes on the inside, one goes on the outside. Very simple system. All right, what's next? I guess we can put the throttle cable on. Should be fairly simple. I think this clip goes in here. And then this one in here. And we'll just bring this down to here. Wrap the cable around. There we go. When I took this off, there was only one bolt on here, so I don't know if that really would do anything, but we're gonna put two on for now. Put this here, this one here. Should be good. All right, what's next? I guess the next thing we can do here is put the exhaust manifold back on. That was annoying. Psych, I forgot we gotta put the new gasket on, so it's actually been like a day. I did not want to scrape the gasket off the other day, so now we should be ready. There we go. Just like that. Yeah, I don't know where my 12 mil socket went, so I gotta use this wrench. Oh well. All right, got these all tightened down. I think the last thing we gotta do here is connect the coolant lines and then put coolant in it. Guess we'll just start with this one. Should be good. Now we gotta do the one down here. This is the annoying one. Yeah, this one right here. Let's see. That'll be fine. Damn, this radiator. These grommets are toast. I'm gonna have to order some radiator grommets. Forgot I had to put this intake piece on. The piece that holds the filter. All right, I got that clamp on finally, so I can plug in this last sensor here. Should go like this. Nice. And this tube. Should be good. I think the last step might just be coolant here. Just checking everything. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put the coolant in and see if it leaks. I got distilled water. Well, I think we're just about ready to give her a little start here. Hopefully everything I put back together right. I don't see any leaks. If there's any drips, it's from the water I spilled everywhere from the coolant. Should I put the bumper on? Yeah, I might as well. I'll put the bumper on. Check the oil. Yeah, it looks good. Very clean still. All right, I think I'm just about ready to start it up here. Get the battery on. I have no tie down for it, never did. So I gotta get one of those. Looks like everything is plugged in here. This power steering belt might need a little more tension, honestly. We'll find out. I'm so nervous, if I'm being honest. Well, let's prime it, make sure there's no leaks. No leaks there. No leaks here. I guess we'll send it. Make sure this is in neutral. Wish me luck. Something's squeaking. One of the belts. Let's go, it runs though. Let's go. That's a weird idle. Oh, there's an exhaust leak for sure. Actually, no, it's probably just burning off oil. Let's see what the temps are looking at. These coolant temp sensors are usually not great, but oh, now it's settling down. Any leaks? Looks like something might have dripped. That might have been from when I poured it. So how much fuel do I have actually? Not much. Idle's about 1.5, a little under like 1.3. Sounds about right. Oh, what a relief. Gotta represent. Let's see, is it still smoking a bit? Yeah, a little bit. Let's see if it does the idle again. Yeah, the O2 sensors were probably all messed up, clogged or something. I had a feeling there might be an exhaust leak, so there might be, but that looks like oil right there. and right there, and that looks like where it's smoking from. So I'm gonna assume it's probably just residual oil just burning off the exhaust manifold. I don't know what that noise is. Anyone know? Sounds like a little click when I rev it up. And do it again. I have no idea. Kind of sounds like it's coming from power steering. Which I thought I would need to tension more, so I'm not surprised. I think I might have the timing belt a little too tight. Kind of sounds like a little resistance, so let me know if you think that's what it is. I think power steering was too loose, but it was working great. Well, guys, I think that's gonna do it for now. Just ran it for a while. I think I definitely have to adjust the tensioning on the timing belt. I think it's a little too much, so I'll definitely adjust that. I think that'll do that in the next video. Hopefully we don't have to disassemble everything to do that. That'd be quite annoying. And then I definitely have to tension the power steering more, because I tried turning the wheel with it running and definitely starts to squeak when I do that. So that'd make more sense. So yeah, not too worried about that, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for now. Thank you for watching. I need to fix this fitment. That's gonna be soon. See ya.